सर्वधर्म स्वरूपिणे अवतार वरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। Friends, today's topic is the heart that sees the invisible. Apparently, this is a topic based on the concept of bhakti. Bhakti or the path of devotion to reach God. I was thinking on this topic and I was thinking how was Sri Ramakrishna's approach to God. Sri Ramakrishna led a life which accommodated all the different ways to reach the reality. He was the person who actually practiced different ways, different paths according to different denominations within Hinduism itself, and also according to other religions. If we divide the approaches, we find two very distinct approaches. One is the approach of non-dual Vedanta, and second, almost all other approaches can be put under the group which is called a dual approach to the reality. We are speaking about heart, which is concerned to know the reality, and this heart has a different meaning. In all dualistic approaches, the heart has been given very important place. As we have seen in the Bible, it is said, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." See, the heart cannot see, it can feel. And therefore the word seeing has a different connotation. Before going into details about it, we will try to look at this idea, the idea of Sri Ramakrishna in respect of bhakti or path of devotion. He liked the path of devotion as explained by Narada in his Narada Bhakti Sutras. And there Narada defines bhakti and at the same time defines God also. Sri Ramakrishna liked the idea of bhakti according to Narada because it was Jnana Mishra Bhakti, bhakti which is not devoid of the knowledge about God. We will come to that later on, but in ordinary understanding we think Jnana means knowledge. Knowledge according to the path of non-dual Vedanta, knowledge, path of knowledge. Jnana Yoga. But here Sri Ramakrishna's approach is a little bit more comprehensive in the sense that it includes other approaches. As we have seen when we talk about Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, all yogas have some traits of each yoga has some traits of other yogas in it. Jnana yoga, where jnana is predominant. Other things like bhakti also has a place there. Karma has a place there. And meditation, dhyana yoga, or what we call Raja yoga, it has a place. But more prominent is jnana. That is what is called jnana yoga. Similarly, bhakti yoga also is a combination of all those four yogas, but bhakti is more prominent there. Predominance of bhakti. This is a path of devotion which leads us through the experience of a personal God and takes us further with further inquiry. Sri Ramakrishna says, somehow you try to know God, and when you reach God, then God will tell you if there is any further approach. And he tells that the master calls the servant and says, you sit with me. The servant is hesitating to sit with the master. Then the master is saying, come and sit near me, are you and I different? So the idea that we are one and the same. Sri Krishna also says in the Gita that there are a few types of my devotees. Artho, Jignasur, Artharthik, Jnanicha. They are all his devotees. He is not saying that Jnanis are not my devotees, but he gives a place to the Jnanis also. But there the Jnani has a different meaning. Jnani is who wants to inquire into the very nature of God. We want to know God and pray to Him through the path of devotion. But here Jnani wants to inquire into the nature of God. How is God made? Means what is God actually? He wants to know that nature. That is called Jnana. Sri Ramakrishna likes this approach of Narada, and according to Narada, there is a very nice definition of bhakti. What is bhakti? Because he is writing on bhakti yoga, on the path of bhakti. It is a bhakti sutra. All the original or basic or source literatures in different approaches are written in the form of sutras or aphorisms. So Narada Bhakti Sutra is the basic book for bhakti. Narada Bhakti Sutra says that Satu Asmin Paramo Prema Rupa. Sa means that bhakti is Paramo Prema Rupa. It is in the form of ultimate love. If we use this word love, we will define it further. Ultimate love for God. Asmin means in this God. What type of God? Sri Ramakrishna liked this idea because Sri Ramakrishna has his own definition of God. His God is God who is personal and who has created this whole world, who has created all. Sri Ramakrishna's God has got different names. Muslims call him Allah, Christians call him Father in Heaven, Hindus call him this, that. So, this is a God who has created the whole universe, including the Christians, the Muslims, the Hindus, because everybody comes under His creation. So, and a universal definition of God is there. Sri Ramakrishna's definition is very appropriate here when we are showing our love for God. It is more important that we are more concerned than God. If we want to reach God first, we are more concerned. Well, if we start moving towards God, God can move towards us in a faster way. that is a different matter. But the first responsibility belongs to us. We are approaching God. So, that bhakti is in the form of ultimate devotion, ultimate love. That is why when we look at this definition of love, if we go to Chaitanya Deva of Bengal, he made a differentiation between what is this love for God and what is love for other things. He says, his very clear definition, he says, Atmendriya Pritiricha Tare Boli Kam, Krishnendriya Pritiricha Dhare Prem Nam. If we want to satisfy our own selfish interests, and we are happy with that, then that love is called kama, not love, desire. And there love becomes an object. Swami Vivekananda has said, love can be a noun, it can be a verb also. So when love becomes a noun, it becomes an object, we want it. We want it for us. There is no question of reciprocity. When we want to reciprocate, we want to love as a verb, then that love is without bargain. So if the love becomes an object, then that is selfish love. I want it from others. It is a noun, we can buy it in different forms as an object. But when love becomes a verb, it flows from us directly. And it does not consider the case of the object, it is a natural flow of love. And when this love is directed towards God, then how much can we love? Then the devotee starts feeling that our love is not enough. At one point of time we will really start feeling that how much can we love God? At each moment, every occasion proves His love. And there it is so unconditional that we fail to stand the test. We feel that our love is not enough, and that is the feeling of great teachers or saints in the path of bhakti. They never think that their love is enough to realize God. That is, of course, the feeling in all field. If we are aspirants for anything and we are working hard, we feel that it is not enough, it is not enough. This is a thing which is called divine dissatisfaction. Swami Vivekananda has said that. Divine discontent. That we don't feel that we are doing enough. That is a good thing that inspires us. We try to do more and more and more. So, when the love which flows naturally from us towards God, then it actually reaches its culmination. And there, the love and the object of love, that becomes one, as it were. So that is a kind of love for love's sake, for the sake of love we love. Because we can't do otherwise. That is the problem of the devotee. Sri Swami Vivekananda deals with this subject in his Bhakti Yoga. He says that in this love there is no bargaining. And this love is the ultimate. It has no competitor. Competitor means something is better than this. It is Satu Asmit Parama. Nothing is better than this, more than this. That type of love. that is called prema. And if a percentage of that love starts manifesting in us, starts becoming dynamic in us, then we are in the path of devotion. Swami Ranganathanandaji used to say that when we are practicing spiritual path, we need not be 100% yogi. We can start with 1%, we may be 2%, he says you may be 2%, but try to be 2% yogi uniformly. Uniformly 2%, because we are trying to raise our level. So if it is not uniformly 2%, then what will be the total value of it? In the shrine we will become 100% spiritual, and when we go out, we become minus 200% spiritual. That does not help. So he says uniformly spiritual. We will try to maintain that uniformity, and that is enough. That is why Yoga Sutra also says that what is yoga? It says what is yoga? Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga means the controlling cessation of the modifications of the mind, the vrittis, the thoughts, whatever appear in our mind. Here, the commentator adds, Vyasa adds, here the word sarva has not been used. Sarva chitta vritti nirodha, the scripture has not said that. Why? Because any effort on our part will be recognized. Any effort. If a child is beginning to walk, all faltering steps will be encouraged by the parents, by other seniors. You are able to do this. This will be encouraged. So any effort, any percentage of effort will be recognized. That is why Yoga Sutra says that Sarva word has not been added, because anyone trying to reach the reality or the knowledge, realization through the path of yoga, any small effort will be recognized. In Berlin, we live in a street which is known as Mohnweg. So when we come across the field and the Mohnweg starts, it starts with number 1, number 2, 3, 4, like that. It is amazing that even number 1 is also called Mohnweg, as 84 is also called Mohnweg. Whatever be our position, we are in Mohnweg. Number 1 is also on Mohnweg, maybe at the lowest rung of the ladder, but we are on the ladder. That is why any percentage, any small effort is recognized. You are a yogi because you have started to walk that way. Sometimes we try to compare the 100% achievement and then say, what are you doing? Wrong. That is an experience where we don't give value to efforts. Take care of the means, then the means will take care of the end. Give value to the means. This person starts. So if when we move into the path of bhakti, each step will be recognized. Well, we may not be recognized by people around us, but the goal or the God will recognize. Someone came to Sri Ramakrishna and said, "Sir, I am blind." Sri Ramakrishna looked at him and said, "But he has eyes." You may be blind, but God is not blind. In the sense that we have to always keep it in mind that we are approaching a conscious reality. If that is clear, then we know each and every effort of ours will be recognized. Each and every small effort of ours will be recognized because God is a conscious being. This we never understand. When a child is walking towards the mother with faltering steps, mother is watching, lest the child should fall. So when she sees that it is now time that he is going to or she is going to fall, the mother stretches the hand and lifts that child or helps. So we have to wait till this happens. And it is a reality in the life of all seekers, in the path of all the paths. All the paths, these things are being corroborated, these things are being recognized. So we have promised that we will deal with this idea that the heart which sees the invisible. According to us, God is invisible because we can't see. Now the problem is that we think if a thing is seen, then it is a proof. Seeing is believing. But according to Vedanta, if we are able to detect something with the help of our senses, that thing has temporary value. Anything, if we objectify anything, if we are able to objectify anything, then that thing is different from the subject. And the infinite reality is always the subject, not object. So object-subject differentiation is not there. This is a kind of relative experience which we validate for the sake of our pragmatic values, but they do not have any ultimate value. So the heart which sees the invisible, what kind of heart it is and what does it see? And what is the meaning of seeing? To be very simple in explaining this idea of seeing, seeing is experiencing. If I have experienced pain, as Shankaracharya gives an example, the person who touches fire and knows that fire is hot, no amount of philosophy will be able to prove that fire is cold to this person. Maybe that it may convince others who have not touched fire. Yes, okay, this is fine. Maybe all right. But the person who has touched fire will never trust in your philosophy because there is no direct experience in this. It will not convince. So, all these things should be our direct experience. So the seeing means experience. It should be an experience, and that happens if someone is taking up the journey. As I have said, even 2% also is an experience. It is not that we have to see God as He is or she is. There are varieties of experiences of God at different levels of our growth. Any experience is an experience of God. But we think that God realization means the final realization. No. Any kind of experience. Again, to refer to the Yoga Sutras, because Swami Vivekananda has said that Yoga Sutra is the science of religion. Yoga Sutra says it provides us with 8 alternatives which we can take up to clean our mind, to purify our mind. And one alternative is that try to concentrate on any material object. It does not say any spiritual object. Vishayavati va pravrittir utpanna manasasthiti nibandhani. Anything which is material in this world, take up that object and concentrate. You will get a very quick result. If we try to concentrate on our eardrum, try to follow a sound on the road, we can see that we can follow that sound for a long time. So we go on practicing, we become more expert in this respect. Even simple things, those who show magic, initially they will be caught how they are using their hands. But the more they practice, they become expert. And in the presence of so many people, they can just cheat our eyes. They can deceive our eyes. When it's quick succession, they do things we don't know that it is in hands on. So if we do practice like that, and if we achieve success, that gives us a conviction and more inspiration to take up difficult methods. That is why Yoga Sutra says take up anything. And finally, it says, the eighth alternative, that anything of your choice should be fine, you take up that. Yatha abhimata dhyanat va. Whatever pleases you, take up that type of meditation. Start doing. Start practicing. When we start practicing, then what happens? Then the experiences become clearer. That is how what is called seeing. That we are able to see through the veils, see through these great promises that yes, they are fulfilled, they are possible to be fulfilled. So, this purification of the heart is what is called cleaning the heart. Blessed are the pure in heart, and also according to all our scriptures, they say Chitta Shuddhi actually. Chitta Shuddhi is nothing but purification of the mind, purification of the heart. It does not speak about cleaning the eyes or putting on bitter glasses. It talks about purifying the heart. And bhakti helps us easily. Sri Ramakrishna says that bhakti is easier path. Sri Krishna also says that other paths are difficult, because Sri Ramakrishna says very clearly, we are feeling that we have a body, we think that we are the body, this world is real, these are facts in our life. In spite of all these practical experiences of the reality in front of us, if we say we are not the body, we are not the mind, we are not this, not that, then it is very difficult. It is a very difficult path. Sri Ramakrishna says that I say there is no thorn, there is no prick of thorn. But then when a thorn pricks us, we cry out. Why? If there is no thorn, there is no prick of thorn, you should not cry. When the thorn pricks, but we do that. So it is very difficult to say that the world does not exist. I am not the body. Sri Ramakrishna says, and scriptures also say that there are paths, people can follow this type of paths, but their examples are very rare. And that competence is very rare also. Therefore, why should we think that we are extra special? We can start as ordinary as we are. From there we can start and we can lift ourselves. There are hundreds and thousands of ways and helps. If the things are easier, the helps are easily available. If the things are difficult, helps are difficult also to get. Sri Krishna says that klesho dhikataraste sam avyakta asakta chetas. Those people who try to meditate or concentrate or think of avyakta, unmanifested reality, impersonal reality, they have lot more difficulties. Klesho adhikatara, lot more difficulties they have to suffer. And Sri Krishna himself praises his devotees. So what type of heart is necessary to see that reality? To see that reality which is called a personal God. What type of pure heart is necessary? The heart which is free from attachment to things which is not God. That's all. This is as simple as that. So one of our Swamis gave an example that is of course derived from the scriptural ideas, but in the scriptures this idea is not that clear as this Swami was presenting. As Sri Krishna says, all these people are my devotees, artho, those people who turn towards me because they are suffering from something. Artho. Jignasur, those who want to inquire into the very nature of God. Artharthi, those who want something. Arthi, those who want something. Maybe some material things. Artha. Artha means, actually speaking, artha means anartha, which does not have a real value in this world. But we seek those things. Sri Krishna says they are also my devotees. They want something in this world, that is why they are asking me. At least it is good that they are coming to me, not to going to somebody else. He is happy with that. And Jnani cha Bharatas. All these efforts have been recognized because, after all, whatever be the necessity or wish, we turn towards God. As Sri Ramakrishna says, the world is a weak magnet. God is bigger magnet, stronger magnet. So if we turn towards God, He pulls us quickly. So He recognizes our effort that way. So the equation is that, the Gita, actually it is Gita equation. Gita says that suppose we want to go to the other shore of this river, then what I do? I need to have a boat. And what I do? I need to have some money to buy this boat. See, in sequence, all these things we do actually in this world. And then, what we do then? Then we do work hard to get the money. So I have learned it from the scriptures that realization is available on the other side of this river. And it is my responsibility that I take up a journey to the other side. If nobody will help me, I have to do it myself. Spiritual practices can never be done by somebody else on my behalf. It is not possible. I have to do it. If I sit at home and somebody else does these physical exercises and yoga on my behalf, it will not improve my health. So it has to be done by myself. Therefore, what I start doing, my goal is to buy a boat to go to the other side of the river. So I start working on that. I collect money. I use that money to buy the boat and use the boat to go to the other shore. Now what happens? It fulfills my wish that I want to go to God. And when I go to the other shore, what happens? I have to get out of this boat. This boat is our body. And all the things connected with the body. They are all accessories in the boat. So I have to get out of this boat. But this last step is very difficult to take. I look back and calculate whatever I have done. I have done so much to buy this boat. Now I have to put this boat. That is a very difficult proposition. And if I go to the other shore, don't jump out of the boat, then what happens? I don't get that realization. So there is one problem that I get attached to this. Now see, if I want to buy my mukti, my liberation, then I use God to help me in buying liberation. As I used money to help me buy the boat, to take me to the other shore, I use God to buy a means to go to God. Then what happens? God becomes the means, God becomes the goal also. But suppose I am Artharthi. Suppose I am Artharthi, and most of us are like that. So what happens? I use God to get something in this world. So God becomes as equal to money. I use money to buy something in this world. I use God to get something in this world. So money is equal to God. This cannot be defined as bhakti. This is far, far away from devotion. Most of the time this happens. That we use God, and when this work is done, then we very conveniently forget God. We just say goodbye to God because my work is done. This is a very, very serious thing we have to think of. What way we use God's help. God's help can be used to reach God. That is possible. So we start with God, end in God. God becomes the means, God becomes the goal. Or we take up this material means to reach God. That is also fine. But if we use God to satisfy our material desires, material needs, that can never be called bhakti. Bhakti will place God always as the goal, not as the means to satisfy any material goal. If we can do that, to get rid of this type of attitude, then any effort towards the direction of reaching God is called bhakti. And if we are able to purify our mind in such a manner that it is attached to the ultimate or the goal, and that goal should be God. That is what is called purification of the mind. And there the mind is able to see God. Sri Ramakrishna says that God can be seen with eyes closed and with eyes open also. He says, if I close my eyes, I can see God. Can I not see God if I open the eyes? The idea is, seeing with the help of the eyes means, he says, khola chokhe dekha jai. With the help of open eyes, one can see God. The idea is that as we look at things with open eyes and we are convinced of the existence of that thing, similar will be the experience, that it will be as clear as that. There will be no doubt about it. As we were discussing, someone said yesterday about doubt. Doubt is a constant companion of faith. Otherwise, faith is nothing but superstition. If there is no scope for doubt, there is no faith at all. And if we speak of the faith of a realized person, we don't need that faith because he has crossed the necessity of faith. For him there is no necessity of faith. It is a reality. It is a tangible experience. But those who are starting with faith, their mind should be always ridden with doubts. But it is not just a futile doubt that we doubt things for the sake of doubting. I have to ask a question for the sake of showing my speciality or my intelligence or idle curiosity. I don't work on that. It is not my problem. Then that doubt is never going to help me in any way. I will remain confused always. But when this doubt goads me into action, helps me to take up any kind of journey, inspires me to take up the adventures, that doubt actually increases our faith. When this doubt is solved, then we grow in faith more and more. And till the end of our journey, doubt is our companion also, as faith is. But lesser and lesser will become our doubt more and more will become our faith. That is the equation in our journey. But doubt ends when the realization happens. Vidyate hridaya granthi, chhidyante sarva sansaya. Upanishad uses sarva word here. That all the knots of the heart, hridaya, they use the word heart, will be cut asunder. And chhidyante sarva samsayaha. All the doubts will be got rid of. Chhidyante sarva samsayaha. All the doubts will be cut asunder. Tasmin drishte paravare. When we are able to realize that truth. Paravare, whatever is relative, it is beyond that. It is the ultimate. When we reach the ultimate, reach our goal, then all doubts about the goal will be overcome. Not before that. Therefore, sometimes we have a lot of misunderstanding about practical spiritual life. That we think that doubt is very bad in our life. But doubt is actually a companion, always. Should I do this or should I do that? Is it enough for me to go this way? Is it enough for me that it helps me to go further? These are all things we ask. And there the question of the Guru comes. It was Guru Purnima the other day. What is the role of the Guru? Role of the Guru is Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara. The idea, sometimes we think the meaning is like this: Guru is Brahma, Guru is Vishnu, Guru is Maheshwara. One person cannot be three like that. The idea is Brahma can be called a Guru, Vishnu is our Guru, Maheshwara is our Guru. And these are three aspects of the Guru power. Guru is called Brahma or Guru Shakti. It is not a human Guru or a human form, it is Shakti. The Shakti which has a tradition. Shankaracharya says that knowledge which comes without tradition, that knowledge is no knowledge. Tradition is a proof of knowledge, and it has come down through generations, through rigorous spiritual practices, researches. Through rigorous researches, not that it is just fake. Rigorous researches, this tradition has come. Knowledge has to come through tradition. Then only it helps us. So, Guru has got these three powers. Guru can create an interest in the life of a student. That is what the guides do. When we are doing some research, our guides come and help us, create more inspiration in that, brings more conviction into it. Similarly, in the schools, everywhere, in every trade, we will find that there is a kind of practical training. Training is given, in German they say Ausbildung. Ausbildung means practical training. For everything there is a practical training. As I said, that for cleaning the house, we have a retreat house, and because it is a house for public utility, we have to clean that house with the help of an unauthorized farm which cleans. And one person comes who has an MA, Masters in Cleaning, Meister Reiniger. He has a master degree in cleaning. And one or two of his assistants, they are doing graduation, bachelor's degree under the 3 years course. Bachelor's degree, it is not a joke. Just for the simple cleaning there is a training. But in spiritual life, we think that no training is necessary. So here, Guru creates interest in the mind of the student. That is why Guru is called Brahma, the creator. That kind of trait or quality is there in the Guru. Guru is Brahma. Guru is Vishnu because Guru helps to maintain this interest. This is a very important aspect of having a guide. Sometimes we really admire how difficult each trade is. some time back I was reading about Roger Federer, very big this tennis champion, one of the greatest. He was going through a patch of in his life that he was not able to perform. This in spiritual life is called dryness. This has been very elaborately explained in a very good book. Saint John of the Cross has written a book called The Dark Night of the Soul. There he mentions what varieties of this mechanical or dryness come. And there he has mentioned, and it is exactly parallel to what our Yoga Sutras have mentioned. He narrates about 7 cardinal sins. And Yoga Sutra and our Hindu philosophy speaks of 6 cardinal obstacles. Lobha, Moha, Kama, Krodha, Mada, Matsarya. So when we lose form, that's what the phrase they use. So when Federer lost his form, he was not able to perform, then he had to turn to his coach. And this coach is not a famous tennis player. He cannot beat Roger in a game, Roger Federer in a game. But he is still a coach because he is the third person who is free from this game. He took the help of his coach and he came back, and he is a great player. In every field we have a teacher who helps, and the help of a teacher is very much important when we pass through this loss of form stage. We lose our form. And that time the teacher helps us to retain that interest, even if you are not experiencing any special advancement, even if you are not getting interest in it, but teacher helps us to maintain that interest. That is why the teacher is called Vishnu, maintains the creation. He is responsible as the creator, as Brahma, to create that inspiration, to create interest. And he is now responsible to maintain that interest, and that is the most important part of a guru who has to play this part. That is the necessity. We need that time a help. And the last one is from Vishnu Maheshwara. Maheshwara means he is the destroyer. He destroys all the obstacles from our path. Guru helps us to get over the obstacles. There are myriads of obstacles in spiritual life, not so many in the life, practical life, what we call practical life in this world. This life does not have many obstacles, but more obstacles are there, and very dangerous and more extensive, more powerful and more damaging obstacles are there in the path of spiritual life, in our mind. There are much more real enemies inside than outside. So the help of the Guru is that Guru helps us to get over these obstacles and maintain the same spirit. So he is called Maheshwara. So in this path, in the path of spiritual life, we need a Guru like that who helps us to maintain and the spirit, interest, and afterwards to kill the obstacles. That is why Guru is important. That is why Guru Purnima is very important, because we hail the efforts of the Guru. Guru is not a person who is sitting somewhere and not caring, but he is always present as an inspiration. In the tradition it is says, Mannatho Sri Jagannatha, Madguru Sri Jagadguru. So we are remembering Sri Ramakrishna says that who can be Guru? Only God is the Guru. Actually that is the idea of tradition. The flow of the same power, same force goes through us. Sri Krishna says that Imam Vivaspati Yogam Proktavan Aham Abhyayam. I spoke about this yoga, I handed over this yoga to Vivaswan, to the Sun God. And he, in his turn, handed down it to this person, Manu to Ikshvaku. Like that, evam parampara praptam. That is why you remember our tradition of gurus, parampara, guru parampara, tradition of gurus. The power comes down like that, one after another. But the original teacher is God. God is called Guru because Yoga Sutra says, Sa Purvesham api Guru Kalena Anavacheda. God is the Guru of all Gurus we know, till the beginning of the time, because God is beyond time. God is not bound by time, so He is the Guru of the Gurus. The power, Guru Shakti comes through the human Gurus, but the origin or source of this power is God, which is not bound by this time. Yoga Sutra accepts that God who is beyond time. So the heart which becomes pure by these ideas, very clear idea about the Guru, about God and about our own path and performances, that heart is called pure heart. Once someone asked Swami Baneshananda Maharaj, one of our Swamis asked, the Swami who asked, he is also a very, very brilliant Swami who has spiritual achievements in his life. Maharaj, how will we understand that the mind has become pure? Then Maharaj said, when no impure thoughts arises in the mind, then it is pure. Otherwise, he did not say when you fill the mind with pure ideas. No impure thought will be arising in the mind, then the mind has become pure. Blessed are the pure in heart. Those who are pure in heart, before they shall see God, then they will be able to realize God. They will be able to know what God is and what is the meaning of God in our life. Then instead of highlighting our problems, we will highlight God, not problem. That is the thing we said yesterday, that instead of telling to your God how big your problem is, tell your problem how big your God is. That shows that we trust in God, and that shows that we are following the path of bhakti, devotion. So, our proposition was that we will be looking at this topic from this standpoint, that the heart that sees the invisible. God remains invisible. We don't want God to be visible because we want to feel God inside our heart. Of course, it is one of the experiences that we can see God in various forms. If we are thinking of Sri Ramakrishna, we can see Him in that form, in any form, whatever form it is. There is a young student who was doing his PhD, he came to our center, and another student who finished his master's and was in job. They were sharing the same room. At night something happened, and the one boy who was in the job, he was reporting to me jokingly. He said, Maharaj, last night this fellow, he was shouting in his dream. And he was shouting, no, this like that, something he was saying. And then he became very violent, and then he got up and he turned his side, and he was lying down, he was saying, Jai Thakur Jama, Jai Thakur Jama, and he slept. It has gone so deep inside. It's a wonderful experience, a wonderful thing to listen to. That in the subconscious mind this idea has gone that he is the real protector. And when in dream also he is seeing things, to that his physical body is reacting. And then the subconscious mind is coming up with this protective idea that there is Ramakrishna, there is Haribhajan. Jai Thakur, Jai Ma, he said, and he turned his side. This boy was mentioning, he was witness to that. So, when we are thinking of God, the inside starts changing because God's thought of God is pure thought. And if you go on thinking on that, then the mind becomes pure. If I think of anger, mind takes the color of anger. If I think of jealousy, mind takes up the color of jealousy. If I think of hatred, mind takes up the color of hatred. Mind just goes on playing this way. And if I think of pure thing, God, sattvika thing, then mind takes up that form. And that is why, even in the dream also, when we are asleep, the conscious mind is not working. That time also that saving factor is there. It has gone so deep inside. This should become the practice. Then we will see that mind is becoming clearer and clearer, pure and pure. Our own experiences will say that the mind has become pure, because in the case of such things, we will see that this is helping us, supplying us unconsciously, not consciously. Unconsciously things are coming up. Some people are doing japa unconsciously. In the dream, they see some horrible things and then start doing japa. And they experience that by doing japa, the things are removed. The obstacles and these threats are removed by doing japa. I will end my talk with one experience of one of our Swamis, who was not very old that time. He is one of our contemporaries. And in those days, some maybe in 70s, 78, 79, he underwent gallbladder operation. In those days, it used to take at least 3 weeks for the patient to remain in the hospital. In those days. Nowadays, if they do it and then you are released next day. But 3 weeks that person had to be in the hospital. And he was under general anesthesia, and the doctors asked him to count. He started counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sometimes he stopped. But then when he stopped, he started repeating his mantra throughout the whole operation, as long as he remained in general anesthesia. He went on repeating the mantra. That was proof enough that the subconscious mind is awake, and it was observing. And it has been tuned with this pure idea. And this is where we need to work. Our conscious mind works on the impressions which are in the subconscious mind. And if that subconscious mind is like a clean slate, and now the impressions of this pure thought has taken root in that, then that is the saving factor. Then we can feel the presence of God. What can we do? Sri Ramakrishna says that the king, the Jamindar wanted to visit the house of his servant. And what happens? The servant comes back home and sees nothing is there. No furniture, nothing, and the king will come, what can I do? Then what he can do, he does that. He cleans the house, cleans, until he is satisfied. He does not know what to do because he does not have any glorious things to treat the king with. Therefore he cleans the house. Then what happens? Then the king sends his furniture, his attendants, his servants, because the king knows that that is a poor man's house. So he sends, and that decorates the house of this servant. Similarly, if we clean the heart, then it is a proper place for God to send His glories here. That would decorate our life, and those things will manifest in and through our life. People will be able to see that there is a change, practical change happened in us. Tangible change has happened in us. A transformation happened inside, that I am able to manifest the qualities of God, purity, understanding, love. All these things will come out of me, instead of all the junks which we hold in our mind. Those things will manifest. So this is the feeling of all those who lead a practical life in the path of bhakti. God can be realized, God can be seen in all these ways. It is not necessary that we have to wait till we achieve 100%. Each and every step will produce that kind of inspiration. That is why the Upanishad says that we are talking about that valuable thing, great thing, which we have set as the goal, and that is the conscious reality, for which Sarve Vedayat Padamamunanti. It is not that we are talking about it. All the scriptures, means the experiences of hundreds and thousands of people through hundreds and thousands of years, speak of that truth only. Tapangshi sarvani chajar vadanti. People take up hardship to attain to that reality. Is it just for fun that they are living such a life? And finally the Upanishad uses this thing. Says, Jadichantu brahmacharya charanti. People take up the life of brahmacharya, sannyasi. It is not a life of fun. It is a life which is a life of challenges, a life of suffering. It is not just a life to enjoy, it is a life of suffering. Constant struggle against our own propensities, against this world. That is a constant struggle. And what for do people continue with this type of difficult paths? Is it just for just fun? That they are taking up, if they don't get anything on the way. If you don't get anything, you just don't follow this path, that's all. But because they get something that inspires them, and then they are able to continue with this path. He says it is that goal. Similarly, God is not a goal which is unconscious, we are trying to reach for no reason. So when the heart is purified, and that can be purified in the presence of God only. And each and every step of our progress towards God will produce its result. And if we really follow that path, then only it will produce its result. And that is proved, and that promise has been proved time and again, thousands and thousands of years, thousands of times. So God is a very tangible reality, provided we want to practice the path of bhakti and try to reach God. Thank you very much. If you have any question, we have some 10 minutes like that.
20 minutes.
Okay. Otherwise, what is the next program?
Arti.
Doing Arti.
Maharaj, I have only one question. They say prarabdham plays a dominant role. If the obstacles for spiritual progress is due to prarabdham, can Guru change it?
The prarabdha, accepting God, no one can do anything about prarabdha. Actually, our karmas can be changed, but prarabdha is the life we have started with. We cannot change this. We cannot go back into our source. We have to start this way. We cannot reverse this arrow. It has to go this way. This is what is called prarabdha. They don't say that we cannot change the prarabdha. They say, karma theory says that we can change our fate. Fate means what is there with us. And they are called sanchita karma. There are three karmas: sanchita, kriyamana, and prarabdha. Sanchita karma is what is in store, which has not yet been used. It is there, a lot of things are there. Kriyamana, which we have started with. Like, there are so many arrows in our quiver here. So I have taken out one arrow. So many are still there, can be used. But we can burn that also. We can put to use, not to use, or throw it away. So that can be taken care of. And this one, which I am starting to shoot, I can stop shooting. Scripture will say, don't do this, then I may agree and I will do it. So this also may be inactive. But what I have already thrown, I have no control over it. No one has control over it. It will either hit the target or lose its velocity and fall down. So this is what is called prarabdha, which is already started giving its result. So when we started with this body is the action of prarabdha. We can't change this. But we can make best use of this body to stop the thing which we have started with and to burn out whatever is there. So the prarabdha is a great blessing. In whatever way it may be, I may be a normal person, handicapped person, man, woman, it doesn't matter. But it is a great blessing that we can use this prarabdha to work out on these two big things which are there. Yes,
Guru will not be able to help here.
Guru is helping to get rid of these things, and because of this prarabdha, I am able to use this prarabdha to stop these things. Therefore, they are interconnected and they are cancelling each other. That way, the Guru helps us to understand this, to use this prarabdha. This is the idea.
Swamiji, you started with the concept of Dvait and Advait differentiation. Having been born and raised in Vaishnavite tradition, where devotion is the pathway and duality is the ultimate, that I can never pierce the duality of the God. Advaita says exactly reverse. How do you reconcile that?
Advaita does not say that that is wrong. It says that this is a lower stage of our understanding, its progress. But the teachers of duality did speak of non-dual experience as Narada did. And Sri Krishna Chaitanya in his life, he was a dualist, he was a Vaishnava. And when he met Rai Ramananda, then Ramananda says, okay, you define your bhakti. So he went on telling his experiences. So at one point he came, the Vaishnava, Sri Krishna, Chaitanya Charitamrita mentions this. He said, Eho bhajyo age kahoar. Eho bhajyo age kahoar in Bengali. So this I understand. Now you tell something higher than this. So Chaitanya went on narrating his experiences at different levels. And at one point he said, Nasu Ramana Nahma Ramani Duhu Manu Manu Bhavati Shalajani. He says, I am Nasu Ramana. He is not the man, I am not the woman. He is not God, I am not the devotee. He is not a dual existence, I am neither a dual existence. Nasu Ramana Naham Ramana. Duhu Manu Manu Bhava Pesala Jani. If you collect two minds and mix them together, grind them together, then you won't see that there are two. Duhu Manu Manu Bhava, it becomes one mind by this type of grinding. Then Ramananda stopped him saying, he did not say, Yehova Jivage Kahoar. He said, stop here. He held his mouth. Because then the bhakti duality will be broken if we continue with this. Sri Ramakrishna also says that he said, I am the devotee and mother is mother. I am the son and mother is there. So this is his path of bhakti. But at one point he says, I promise in the name of mother, there is nothing but mother in this body. There is nothing but mother in this body. In the Bhagavatam it is narrated that the gopis, they started imitating the movement of hands and movement of legs, body movements of Krishna. That way they behave. Because they become one with Krishna. So like that in dualistic scriptures also these things are accepted.
But isn't that a communion rather than a union?
No, communion is different. That cannot be said. The two minds have become one. This is not communion. This is one. Dhu Mano, Mano, Bhava, Mano means one mind. Manas from that Mano, a singular number.
And how this, if unless somebody has any question, one more question if I can ask.
Yeah.
In Vaishnavite, in Vallabhacharya tradition of Suddha Dvaita, compared to Kevala Dvaita, there is a concept called Parabhakti, which appears to resemble Jnana. But even there also, Vallabhacharya appears to say is a Parabhakti, that distinction of Jivatma and Atman never obliterates completely. What Shankaracharya will say, Kevala Dvaita, is that the concept of individuality is completely lost into the Atman. So how does one reconcile those two ideas?
You don't need to reconcile. They are both at their place. If you see a person, a child is liking books with photos, tiger, below tiger is written. That is fine there. I can't say that that child is wrong. Or maybe at a higher place someone is thinking, working on only the equations. I can't say that they are wrong. How to you don't need to reconcile. But they can be taken as stepping stones to other realizations, or can be taken separately also. It depends. If I am satisfied with my realization of duality, then fine, well and good. Shankaracharya's approach is, he is saying in duality you say like that, your experience is like that. So do you think anything better will be like this? Like Ramanuja has said, that these three things are not different. Jagat, Brahman and Jiva, they are not different. But they are also different within one concept itself. Like I have my legs, I have my hands, I have my eyes. Eyes are not legs, legs are not hands. This separation is there in me itself, but I am one person. So, three in one like that. That concept also is accepted. That is dualistic religion, they are Bhaktivadis. This is also a hugely big school. We don't need to say how each and one is related to each other. What is the necessity? If I am happy with my realization, then who cares what you think? But one can take up them as, okay, different realizations, and after dual realization, I think does this end here, or I can ask some further questions? Okay, then the next, that is Ramanuja's equation, that before going to non-dual experience, one can take up that it is a differentiation within one itself. And then further, then we said, if we have differentiation, what does the third entity, fourth entity which makes this difference? Then that has to be reconciled. Then it leads to multiplicity. Actually, two is never a number in that sense, it's not duality. One is one and the other thing is many. No ekam anekam in Sanskrit is very clear. No ekam means anekam. Anekam, if you can count two, then it is always three. How do you count two? There must be a third agent in this, or fourth, or fifth, all round. So it is multiplicity. Then duality does not mean that it is dual. It is always talking about multiple. God, this world, and jivas, many jivas.
Sure.